guys tell me what's going on? I'm so lost right now. I'm scared to death.
Recently, I posted a YouTube short about a video that I did back in September of 2025. Man buys his dream truck, then gets arrested for driving a stolen truck. That was the video where the Coast Guard officer buys a truck from a car dealership, and then, for some reason, the car dealership falsely reports the truck is stolen, and then he gets arrested at gunpoint and interrogated by clueless detectives.
I promise you guys, I ain't trying to steal anything. I have no idea what happened, but it's not me trying to steal a truck.
That short went over 6 million views, with many of you asking whatever happened to that situation and is there an update? So I thought to myself, that's actually a great question. So I reached out to Shane, the guy from the video, and his lawyers agreed to an interview and to tell you everything that's happened since my first video. And also they provided me with all of the raw footage, including some never before seen body cam footage of this incident.
Look at us. Keep going, keep going. Nobody else in the car? Turn around, turn around, turn around, turn around, turn around. Put your hands behind your back. Come on. Come here. You already said it?
Active duty Coast Guard.
Oh.
The new footage shed some new light on how this actually ended up happening.
Welcome to the LoJack and Cotton Stolen Vehicle Recovery Hotline.
And that's the car that was in your inventory?
We did a little bit more research to see maybe if it was sold or something, but
And it wasn't.
we checked all our sister stores just to make sure you guys don't pull up on someone and it's wrong delivery or something. But
It's always at the same spot.
always the same spot. It starts somewhere and then it ends up there again in Topolaka Airport.
Turn around, turn around, turn around, turn around, turn around. Put your hands behind your back. Come on. Come here. What is going on?
I'm total loss right now.
Maybe I don't know how to pronounce Shane's last name properly. How do you pronounce his name? Is it Sprague or Sprague?
Sprague.
Sprague. Shane had texted me Sprague with a long A. I was thinking it was Sprague because my middle name is Haig, spelled the same way.
Last name?
Sprague, S-P-R-A, G-U-E.
S-P-R-A.
G-U-E. Shane Sprague.
And what about as far as pronunciation goes, your name?
Ignacio. Or everybody calls me Iggy. I-G-G-Y, Iggy.
You're Shane's lawyer in the civil lawsuit against Doral Volkswagen.
Yes.
Did he ever end up getting the truck at all?
No, the car was returned to the dealership. The dealership canceled the contract and returned the funds that he had put down as a deposit.
Why is that? I mean, if this was his dream truck, why not still conclude the deal?
The car was crashed. The Broward Sheriff's Office crashed into the car to pin the vehicle from preventing it to escape. So the car had damage.
I just wish you guys wouldn't have my truck.
What's that?
I said I wish you guys wouldn't have my truck. I just got it.
I got some advice after this. I'll just tell you straight up. You can sue them. That's a big one.
Let's go through it. Our personal information is all over the internet, and it's used against us by the government, by private corporations, and by AI technology. You have to stay on top of it 24/7 and constantly get all of that stuff removed. Fortunately, I have software that does this for me, and you can too. Set up an account with the sponsor of this video, Incogni. Incogni tracks down and removes your personal data from multiple sites, including online directories, people search sites, and even commercial databases. The process is fully automated, so it just continuously removes your data in the background from these places. As of today, Incogni has removed my personal information in 1,035 different places online, but I also use the custom removal feature available in the Unlimited plan and the Family Unlimited plan to take down everything that's exposed about you online. So check out Incogni using the link below or go to incogni.com/civil for 60% off. Incogni helps wipe yourself from the internet completely. They can't harm you if they can't find you. Now back to the video. On June 20th, 2025, Shane spotted his dream truck, a 2024 GMC AT4X, listed for sale at Doral Volkswagen. Through a friend who managed a nearby Subaru dealership, he was connected directly with Doral Volkswagen's general manager, Chris Ranka, who promised to take good care of him.
Hi, I'm Chris Ranka, general manager of Doral Volkswagen. Please come and visit us so we can provide you the best customer service.
The next morning, Shane arrived for his appointment, test drove the truck, and he spent the next several hours working out a deal.
He's a friend of a friend of mine's mom.
Okay.
So Chris kind of helped work the deal.
They agreed on a purchase price of $61,239. Doral accepted his Ford Focus as a trade-in, and Shane put down $12,000 towards the purchase, with both sides agreeing that he would pay the remaining $3,000 of the down payment as soon as the initial payment had cleared. By mid-afternoon, the deal appeared complete. Shane electronically signed the paperwork, the dealership transferred the title and registration, installed his new license plate, handed him the registration and copies of the sales documents. They even took celebratory photos of Shane with his new truck, his dream truck, and sent him on his way. Proud of his purchase, Shane drove straight to his family's home to show off what he considered his dream truck. The next morning, after his down payment cleared, Shane called and texted the dealership to let them know that the remaining $3,000 was ready to be paid anytime. And later that day, he spoke with the finance manager, Frank Garcia, who told him that everything looked good and that he should expect a text message from the finance company to set up his payment account on the loan. Nobody mentioned any problems with the sale. The following week, Shane heard nothing from Doral Volkswagen. No phone calls, no emails, no texts. Then, on July 1st, everything changed. After finishing work at the U.S. Coast Guard station near Miami, Shane drove to a routine physical therapy appointment in Tamarack, Florida. While he was inside his physical therapy appointment, Shane received a congratulatory text from the finance company, as he was told would happen, welcoming him and inviting him to set up his online payment account. So it seemed to Shane like confirmation that everything about the purchase was now finalized. But an hour later, Shane walks back to his truck. He starts it and he begins to back out of his parking space. But suddenly, a black Ford F-150 slammed into the rear of his truck, jolting him forward and locking his seatbelt. As he opens his door to see what had happened, he looks up in shock and he finds several Broward County Sheriff's deputies racing towards him from basically every direction, surrounding his truck, guns drawn and shouting commands.
Hands up! Hands up! I got you. Go with them. I'm gonna hold it.
No guns on you or anything? All right, just leave your shirt up so I can stop.
I got him. I got him.
All right, walk towards me. Let's walk towards me. Look at us. Look at us. Look at us.
Look at us. Keep going. Keep going.
Nobody else in the car?
Turn around. Turn around. Turn around. Turn around. Turn around. Put your hands behind your back. Come on. Come here.
What is going on?
Give me. You have an extra pair or no? Sarge, let me get an extra pair. Let me get an extra pair.
Hey, anybody else with you?
No. Nobody else with you? No, what's happening, guys?
Hey,
everything
go driver's side approach, Jerry. Got it? I'm going down. Going driver's side approach, guys. Got it?
I got nothing on me. Anything wrong with you, Ricky? Take a seat right here.
Actually, we're gonna put you in.
Wherever you guys want.
Yeah. We searched
I'll lock it real quick.
Hold on real quick. Make sure. 43 good is 43.
Yeah.
Shane is handcuffed and placed in the rear of the police cruiser, and the body cam shows that Shane is completely dumbfounded and has no idea what is going on.
We're going to spend everything to you. I'm just going to get your information first. Okay?
Yeah.
What's your first name?
Shane.
S-H-A-N-E.
S-H-A-N-E.
Last name?
Sprague. S-P-R-A. G-U-E.
S-P-R-A.
G-U-E.
G-U-E.
Can you guys tell me what's going on?
So the lead detective's going to come over here and explain everything to you. Just give us a second. Right here. Okay.
You have their number or not?
Yeah.
Just see if he wants to just have us take him 1019 and he can interview.
That's what I was gonna do.
Where is that?
Huh?
Can I pull my shirt down?
Yeah, I got you.
You in the military?
I am. I'm active duty Coast Guard. Yeah, I'm the maintenance officer for the Coast Guard Air Station in Oklahoma. So I have no idea what's happening right now.
I'm trying to get the main detective to come here.
I don't want to like jump the gun and explain everything to you when another detective is going to do that. So I don't
He's
want
gonna explain everything to you.
I don't want to interfere with you.
I'm at a total loss right now.
Yeah, he'll make more sense of what's going on. Like I said, I wish I could just go ahead and tell you, but I don't want to step on their toes.
Am I being arrested? Am I being detained?
Right now, you're just detained, pending an investigation, so you're not arrested.
Sure.
They're gonna come over here. They're gonna talk to you. They're gonna tell you everything that's going on, so that you can understand. Because I know you're confused right now.
Yeah.
So they'll come over here and they'll explain everything to you.
Yeah, whatever you guys need. Just wish you guys wouldn't hit my truck.
What's that?
I said I wish you guys wouldn't hit my truck. I just got it. Yeah, I just got the text message that my payment stuff just started.
For the truck?
Yeah.
I'll take you back to the office more than likely so you can talk to them there formally and they can explain it.
We're just trying to see if you're gonna come here real quick before we take you, or
But you're not being charged with anything right now. You're not under arrest for any crime right now. You're just being investigated for something that's going on. Okay?
Something that's been going on. I'm so lost right now.
Your time is on, right?
Yeah.
Hey, you just had some money, your phone, and your wallet, okay? I'm
Yeah.
leaving the book back and everything.
Okay.
Okay.
You guys gonna take my truck or how? I think my son's up in, I think he's in Boca. So I don't have anybody to come get my truck.
okay. I don't know what's happening with your truck right now. Just give the detective a few minutes. They're like I'm saying, they're gonna explain everything to you.
Yeah, I mean, I'll...
Step out one more time. I'm just going to search you since you're getting in my vehicle. I know they probably already did a good job, but I just want to double check, okay?
Whatever you need, bud.
Thank you. You don't have another pair of shorts on under this, do you?
Nope. They're like,
Liner
yeah,
pants, whatever.
Okay.
Alright, I'm just going to stick you...
Those on.
I'm almost up. I'm scared to death.
You might have to do it on the other side.
Once Shane is rammed, ordered out of his truck at gunpoint, and then handcuffed and placed in a police cruiser, it's undisputed that he's been seized under the Fourth Amendment. Since there was no arrest warrant, probable cause is required if they want to arrest him. The problem is, they don't even know who he is, and once they take him into custody, they don't seem interested in even finding out. They don't get his ID, they don't even ask him any questions. At no point did they have probable cause to arrest Shane Sprague. Really, what they should be doing here in this parking lot of the physical therapy place is what they are allowed to do under the Fourth Amendment, which is conduct a limited investigatory detention in order to learn who he is and why he is driving this truck that Doral Volkswagen has reported stolen. Consistent with the Fourth Amendment, an officer may perform a limited investigatory detention of someone whom he reasonably suspects has committed criminal activity. Such stops may last only as long as necessary to achieve their limited investigatory purpose. Here, there's no doubt that the officers had reasonable suspicion to detain Shane in order to investigate the situation. But here's the problem. They seized him in a dramatic fashion, in a manner that endangered his life and damaged his property, and then they just held him in handcuffs for about an hour without conducting any investigation whatsoever. That's not a limited investigatory stop that lasts only as long as necessary. And for that reason alone, they violated Shane's Fourth Amendment rights. Additionally, they possessed zero information about Shane, indicating that he was armed or dangerous, or that he was anything other than an innocent victim of a car dealership's mistake. They were acting not based on any information particular to Shane's actual circumstances, but rather based on general concepts of officer safety. This shouldn't justify them ramming a vehicle and acting in the manner in which they did. So in my opinion, they exceeded the scope of any lawful detention under these circumstances, and they did so excessively.
Like I said, once the talks to you make a little bit more sense, trying to figure out what's going on. Like I said, you're not being charged anything right now. You're just being investigated. That's what we're talking about. Office is right around the corner. All right?
The truck is then towed along with Shane's belongings, and meanwhile, Shane is transported to a nearby police station, put in a holding cell, and told to wait. While waiting, Shane has still not been told the specific allegations against him. Shane is then brought into an interrogation room where he's confronted by detectives with the Doral Police Department. The initial arrest of Shane took place at around 16:10, which is 4:10 p.m., and then the video of his interrogation begins at around 16:58, so about 50 minutes after his arrest. Even though Shane was completely innocent, almost an hour into his captivity, none of the police officers responsible had bothered to seek out the truth or even to ask any questions to Shane. Instead, after ramming Shane's new truck and pointing guns at him, Broward County deputies just held Shane in custody for almost an hour while waiting on Doral detectives to arrive, as if they bore no responsibility at all in the matter. When the Doral police detectives arrived in the interrogation room, they read Shane his Miranda rights, and Shane clearly still has no idea what is going on.
Shane. Alrighty. So listen, there's a reason why we're here. We just need to talk.
Yeah, obviously.
A couple questions.
Scared to death.
It's just a formality. We just gotta ask you a couple questions. Essentially, what we're about to do is a formality. You know, it's obviously regarding your Miranda rights. I'll read you. I'll go through the process, and basically, depending on what your determination is, what you want to do, we can go from there. Okay. So today is
First.
Tuesday, July the 1st. The time is 4:58. I'm Detective Pino, ID 864, and in the room I'm here with
Sergeant Caldwell, 446.
Detective Vanka, 19741.
and I'm here with
Shane Sprague.
Shane Sprague.
You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say may be used against you in court.
So obviously we need to talk to you in reference to the incident for today, okay? I'm gonna be honest with you, it's about your car, okay? What I want to know is how you got the car, when you got the car, by what means. Just give me the rundown, how everything started with it.
Let's see. I'm super nervous. So, go.
Take your time.
All right. Doral Volkswagen.
Okay.
Last Saturday.
Last Saturday. Okay, well, you know around what time?
I think I finished around 2 p.m.
Okay. You went to Doral Volkswagen
Yeah.
with the intention.
Oh, to purchase a new vehicle.
Okay, and then what happened after that?
Showed up. They came out. They said, "Hey, I had that vehicle particular picked out. I called in the morning."
Who'd you speak with?
The first time I spoke with just a regular person, but then when I got there, Ollie was my sales representative.
Is that a nickname or is that his full name?
I think that's his full name. That's what his business card says.
Okay.
And then I also spoke with the general service manager. His first name is Chris.
Okay.
And he's a friend of a friend of mine's mom.
Okay.
So Chris kind of helped work the deal. Test drove the truck, was exactly what I wanted. Pulled back in, they looked over, we agreed on a price.
Any documents were given?
Yeah.
You have the sales documents?
In my house, yeah.
They're at your house?
Mm-hmm.
And the sales documents have everything for the
Yeah,
truck?
everything, yeah.
Okay.
It was actually really, I would say, easier because I hadn't bought a car in, 15 years. I drive an old Tacoma that my son now drives. I don't know if any of you guys are Tacoma fans, but I almost cried when I had to get to him.
I can imagine.
But yeah, it was super easy. Everything was online. I have a disc with like all the paperwork.
Okay, so they gave you a disc?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like a USB thumb drive.
Do you remember who exactly was the sales representative? I know you said Ali, but any other,
Ali.
any nicknames or any last name, business card, anything?
I have his business
You have
card.
his business card?
Yeah, I have his business card.
Perfect. So then you did the documents for the purchase of the vehicle, and then what happened after that?
Did the documents, went to the, finance manager.
Okay.
Went to finance manager, did all our financing.
You drove it today to the Coast Guard Bay?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Yep, and then back to physical therapy.
Eventually, the detectives tell Shane that his new truck had been reported stolen by the Doral Volkswagen dealership. Shane is completely surprised by this, and he tells the detectives that he legitimately purchased the truck from that dealership. He tells them that he has proof of this on his phone.
The reason why you're in this position, okay? So the vehicle was reported stolen out of the dealership, okay? could be a miscommunication on their end because it was Doral Volkswagen that basically reported it as stolen.
Yeah.
Were you given both sets of keys?
Only one key.
Only one key.
Yeah.
Okay. And did you ask for where this?
Yes, I did. And they said they couldn't find a second key.
Okay. So just to confirm, at Saturday at 2 p.m. approximately is when you went to go buy that truck.
No, I got there at 9 in the morning.
What time did you drive off?
Like 2 p.m.
One of the detectives tells Shane that the plate on his dream truck is actually registered to a Chevy pickup that is sitting right now at the Doral Volkswagen dealership lot. And rather than asking Doral Volkswagen to explain how this is possible, they're asking Shane, who is clearly confused because he had no way of knowing about the mistake made by the dealership.
What car did you have previous?
It's a Toyota, Ford Focus.
Under your name? Mm-hmm. Okay. And that tag, where'd you get the tag from?
That tag, the tag that's on the truck was a tag that was on the car, and they transferred the tag at the dealer.
So you got the tag from the dealer, and they told you they were going to transfer the tag?
Yeah, the registration's in the glove box.
So the tag that was on the truck today
Was on my Focus.
Okay, so it was previously on your car.
Yeah, registered.
So it's your tag.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And it was on a Focus previously.
2012 Ford Focus.
Okay.
Frank
Frank.
is the service manager.
The tag that you have on the truck now, that's the tag that was on the Focus?
That was the tag that was on the Focus.
Have you ever owned a Chevy?
No.
No?
I mean a Blazer, like when I was in high school.
What color?
Black.
You've never owned a Chevrolet truck.
No.
And
What's your name? Your name?
Shane. Shane.
Alright. So the tag that was on your truck, alright, comes back to a Chevy pickup. Okay. And that Chevy pickup's under your name.
Should be that Chevy pickup, or that GMC pickup.
No. So the tag that's attached to the truck now, when we run that tag, it comes back to a Chevy pickup under your name.
What?
Yeah.
so
It never belonged to, was never attached. Well, I don't want to say it was never
do you
attached.
mind just looking up the if anything pertaining to the purchase of the vehicle, if you can, just so we can take a look at it.
Finally, the detectives gave Shane his phone, and he was able to show them proof that he had purchased the GMC truck from that dealership, including the text messages that he had exchanged with the salesman, Ali. Those text messages actually showed Shane's license plate on the GMC truck that he had purchased. Shane encouraged them to go ahead and call Ali and confirm what he's telling them. So one of the detectives does just that, and he then exits the interview room to have that conversation.
I can promise you guys, I ain't trying to steal anything. I have no idea what happened, but it's not me trying to steal the truck. I'm just gonna ask a stupid question. Do you think somehow that tag was transferred or stolen somewhere
So the only thing
else?
is, I mean, even if it was, transferred incorrectly, it's still the fact that they were doing inventory and then they noticed the truck was missing.
Oh, here's some more messages. This is from my my sales guy.
That's the sales guy?
Yeah, this is here. You're leaving in the truck.
Ali?
Ali.
Okay.
Can I see it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's from the dealer. Leave it in the truck.
Yeah. Can we call him?
Yeah, absolutely.
Is this Ali? How you doing, Ali? This is Sergeant Holden.
The main detective is realizing that there's been a mistake, and he tells Shane that this is just a formality, that this is a routine investigation. He says that this is why we interview people, ignoring the fact that Shane was brought there in handcuffs after having been rammed by a vehicle and apprehended at gunpoint well over an hour earlier. Hardly a routine interview. Perhaps they should have done the interview first.
This is just a formality. At the end of the day, we don't know what we have until we investigate a little further. That's why we interview. Once we verify all the details.
There's nothing to hide in this one. I mean, clearly we're going through, just going. This is what I don't understand though is like the tag thing.
That's we'll talk about that after. We just need to verify. Where'd he go? He's on the phone with the sales rep.
Then the other detective comes back in and he shows additional proof to the main detective that Shane was actually telling the truth. And now they know for sure that Shane is completely innocent and that the dealership screwed up.
Yeah, so there's a Carfax and then there's a RMS.
Okay, so it basically seems that they. Okay.
It sounds like they messed up.
Yeah. They basically. Is this your phone or his phone?
That's his phone.
Okay.
And then if you swipe to the Carfax, it comes back to a 1500.
Yeah.
It is a 1500.
Yeah, but it's like a diesel, like lower model. Because that's a AT4. This is coming back to.
Hey, that's an AT4X, man.
My bad.
So yeah, it seems like when.
So we can smile a little bit. About
Yeah.
At this point,
Please don't beat me up, man.
No. Hopefully we didn't treat you too rough.
I want to hug when I'm done.
We'll talk after this.
Maybe some coffee.
I got some advice after this.
Yeah, once he's done with it, he's actually talking to the sales rep once he comes back.
Okay. I'll just tell you straight up, you're gonna sue them. That's a big.
Let me see the messages with the sales guy you showed us. Yeah, there's a conversation between you guys. Correct.
You can't see it in the video, but under the table, they had a leg restraint on Shane so that he couldn't move from his chair. After they realized that they had screwed up, they eventually removed the leg restraint and told Shane that he was free to go. They failed to capture this, though, on their video.
For real, right? This is embarrassing.
I can understand that.
I'm the fucking helicopter maintenance officer for the Coast Guard Air Station in Opa-locka. Like, you guys rolled me out of my physical therapy office. They're gonna be like, what the fuck?
Well, we treat all stolen vehicles. We don't know.
Hey, dude, when we're done, we'll burn, because I don't give a fuck. Like, I'm a dude. I've rolled people too. It's all good. We're there. I just was like, the only thing that I could think was something with the truck, and I was sitting in the cell freezing my balls off. I'm like, this guy. And then when they said Doral, I was like, this is something with the truck.
Your stuff, yeah. I don't know how you guys want to work it because of your backpack or rucksack, whatever's in the back.
Yeah.
I left it all there. Like we really don't.
Is the truck still there?
Well, we towed it, so I could give him a call.
Okay.
If you want to go over there and be like, hey, listen, he just needs to get his stuff, like, and I'll explain the situation.
That's because how long is my truck gonna be gone?
I mean, depending on once we clarify everything and verify everything, you might be able to get it back pretty soon.
You guys were very professional. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's not you guys at all. This is whatever they did. Can I answer this? No.
Yeah, can you just wait for us to finish and then?
Okay. Yeah.
How many years have you been serving for?
27.
I was surprised you guys got a tight ship over there. We tried getting we originally went over there.
Yeah.
To see if because the car was supposedly over there.
Yeah.
And then we tried to get in to even look around.
You guys didn't have my phone number? Because you could call me and I would have just came mail somewhere.
So whenever we get calls like this, it's very limited information.
Yeah.
So
Dude, if I had known, I'd have met you on the damn Volkswagen dealer. Nobody called, nobody emailed, nothing. That's the frustrating part. Is like
that's the thing. We gotta verify what's going on their end because if the case is that it's a clerical error on the paperwork or something, then that's something that they need to sort out themselves.
So they wouldn't let y'all on the base?
And we tried.
Yeah, when did you guys go? Did you guys go today?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah, we went all the way down to Opa-locka and try to see if we can get a hold of the truck.
That's where it sits all the time.
Yeah, once we saw how tight ship it was, we're like, all right, I mean, either this guy's a contractor who has access or possibly somebody on base.
Oh no, I'm the man. Yeah, you guys would have created a shitstorm and a half doing that. That'd
Yeah,
been
so
great.
that's why we went over there. Obviously, we asked questions first before doing anything crazy, but
Now that we know what it's about, that would have been funny, but it would not have been funny at the time.
probably not at the time.
No, not at the
We can
time.
laugh about it now.
We laugh about it now.
later.
It would have been a really great story. You guys remember that time Shane got arrested?
They can end it? All right, this concludes it. The time is now 5:34.
Shane was escorted out the front door of the police station, and then they went back inside. Shane called his son to come pick him up and also called his fiancée to tell her what had happened. He then also had to call the tow yard in order to go, hopefully, pick up his new truck. When his son arrived, they drove directly to the tow yard. On the way, they called this guy Daniel, who was supposedly the guy at Doral Volkswagen who had spoken to the detectives minutes earlier. Daniel said that they had contacted the tow yard and told them to release the truck from their possession. He also apologized to Shane about what had happened. But still, there was a major problem. After arriving at the tow yard, Shane learned that not only was the GMC not titled in his name, but that it was actually still titled in the name of the truck's original owner, who had traded it into Doral Volkswagen. This meant that the prior owner was the only person permitted to lawfully retrieve the truck from the tow yard, and they were not going to release it either to the dealership or to Shane. Even worse, Shane also wasn't allowed to retrieve his personal items that were still inside his truck. This then caused an even bigger problem because among the items inside his truck was his work identification documents and his iPad, which contained sensitive information due to Shane's position with the U.S. Coast Guard. So Shane contacted the same detective with the Broward Sheriff's Office who was there during the interrogation, but he was basically no help. He refused to provide proof of the incident to the tow yard at that time, and instead he recommended to Shane that he file a FOIA request for that information. The only thing that Shane was able to retrieve that day was his wallet. Everything else remained in the truck, and then the next day, Shane was forced to rent a vehicle from Enterprise so that he would have a vehicle to drive to work. The day after that, now acting with the advice of his attorney, Shane contacted the finance company that financed the deal, and it was at that time that he reviewed the financial documents that had been provided to him via USB drive by the dealership, and he was trying to figure out what mistakes they had made that caused this. He then noticed that the finance manager there at Doral Volkswagen had incorrectly documented the vehicle that he had purchased as a 2024 Chevy 1500 rather than a 2024 GMC 1500 AT4X. So now he didn't have his truck, but he still had the loan. So he requested that the loan be canceled. But the finance company said that only Doral Volkswagen could do that. So Shane asked them, and they then agreed to cancel the loan. Around the same time, Shane found out that there was more to the story about what happened prior to his arrest. He received 2 reports from his employer, the U.S. Coast Guard, the U.S. Coast Guard Air Station Miami, of 2 separate incidents that took place at their main gate on July 1st, earlier the same day that he was arrested. The first report said that 2 unidentified Latino males parked outside the security gate and remained seated in their vehicle. When confronted by guards, they claimed that they were there to retrieve a stolen vehicle. They refused to show their credentials, but apparently they were repo guys acting on behalf of Doral Volkswagen. The second Coast Guard report detailed that at about 2:20 p.m. later that same day, 2 Doral police officers arrived also at the main gate, stating that they needed to find a stolen vehicle that was tracked onto the base. The officers were granted access to the base, but they did not find the vehicle, and that was because Shane had left to attend his physical therapy appointment. So apparently what happened was, after the dealership repo guys were turned away from the Coast Guard base for not showing credentials, the dealership then called the Doral Police Department and reported the vehicle stolen. It was then that the Doral Police Department then went to the dealership to investigate the dealership's report of a stolen vehicle. Thanks to Shane, we now have the body cam footage from that so-called investigation. Note that because dance music was literally blaring inside the Doral Volkswagen dealership, we have attempted to reduce the volume of that music or get rid of it so as to avoid copyright issues. However, the conversations between the officers who were there and the employees of Doral Volkswagen remain unaltered.
How you doing? Carlos. Nice to meet you. How you doing?
Good.
Carlos, nice to
I
meet
sent everything to Pino.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is it?
You call me right now. You're the manager?
Yeah, I want to.
Can I get your ID?
In the body cam footage from inside the dealership, we see the actual individual who made the report to the Doral police on behalf of the dealership. Now, to be fair, this isn't the guy at the dealership who made the initial mistake. That was the finance manager. This is the guy who just realized that apparently they were missing this GMC truck, which due to their mistake had already been sold, but due to their mistake was still listed as not having been sold, so it was supposed to be on the lot. So what does this guy do? He calls the cops. The problem was he called the cops before fully looking into the situation.
Did you activate the low jack?
It's every car that comes in, we put it on right away.
Yeah, but it's not showing, at least on my end. I open a low jack on my end, and it's not coming up.
It's probably not gonna show up on your end because it's activated to my dealership.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, if you activate a stolen, it should come up on our end.
Oh, let me check. I haven't reported it stolen actually. So I reported stolen?
Yep. Now it'll pop up on our end. So when did you guys notice it was stolen?
It was today this morning.
You noticed today? Around what time?
This morning.
When you guys came in?
Yeah.
What time is that usually?
Like 8
8 a.m. And when was the last time you guys saw it?
If I tell you, I'd be lying to you.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Not sure. And the car wasn't sold or anything like that, right?
We checked everywhere. We checked when it was last titled. Last time it was titled was 2024.
Mm-hmm. The vehicle had no tag, right?
No.
Welcome to the LoJack and Cotton Stolen Vehicle Recovery Hotline.
And that's the car that was in your inventory?
What's up, brother? Yeah, so I'll give you 1 second here.
The main thing happening during the investigation at the dealership is that they're having this conversation with LoJack. Now, LoJack is an anti-theft vehicle recovery system that has existed in various forms since the 1980s. The current LoJack system, now operated by a private company, features real-time GPS tracking of vehicles equipped with it, as well as vehicle location history, geofence alerts, low battery alerts, and most relevant here, a stolen vehicle concierge service that works with law enforcement. And that's what we are witnessing right here.
Okay, Danielle, when was the vehicle stolen?
Well, we found out this morning.
What's the year, make, and model?
2024 GMC Sierra ATX4. That's just moving.
It's been moving today?
They checked it. If I go to yesterday, like how many trips we did, and it ended up at the same spot.
Okay, so here's the problem, Daniel. In this case, this vehicle itself was not sold with LoJack, so you would need to get in contact with your dealership to check on the sales status, because unfortunately the vehicle has no sale approved, so unfortunately we cannot assist in this case.
It has no sale approved because it was never sold.
Tell me the dealer.
For example,
I work at Volkswagen. I'm one of the managers here.
When did you guys get that in inventory?
28th, it didn't move.
28?
It's been here for like 40 days, like 35 days. But look, here again. This is on the 27th. The 28th, it didn't move. The 27th, it moved.
Mm-hmm.
And it ends up in the same spot every single time.
Every single time. That's weird.
At the airport.
Yeah.
And we've had a few cars stolen here already, but usually when they steal them, they take off the LoJack outside.
Yeah.
They already know.
Yeah. That's weird.
That's why we thought it was. We did a little bit more research to see maybe if it was sold or something, but.
And it wasn't.
We checked all our sister stores just to make sure you guys don't pull up on someone and it's wrong delivery or something.
Typically, the way it works is after a vehicle is stolen and reported to the police, the theft is entered into law enforcement databases, and then the vehicle's location can be viewed through the LoJack app. LoJack's Recovery Center coordinates with law enforcement, and officers receive GPS updates to then physically recover the vehicle. Here, it was the coordination between the Doral PD and LoJack that ultimately led to the truck's location being identified as the parking lot of Shane's physical therapy place. However, this was in Broward County, so whether via LoJack or via Doral PD, the Broward County Sheriff's Office ended up making the seizure of the truck and arresting Shane.
Mm-hmm.
But it's never been titled. We just checked the DMV and there's never been titled. So it's for sure not titled or nothing.
Yes, for sure you guys didn't sell it.
And it's been here 43 days.
Okay.
We're doing inventory, so there's a lead on that car. We went to go look for the key and we look it up. The LoJack obviously showed that it's an off-site.
What color is the vehicle they found you?
Great.
Do you know if it has a plate?
If it has what?
Plate.
I mean, we didn't give him a plate.
Check DMV. There's no plate issued to that car. It was taken on the 21st.
On the 21st?
It was here.
Mm-hmm.
They took it to mine on the 21st.
Perfect. Was it during the day? Or when they got taken?
10 in the morning.
10 a.m. Do you have video cameras? No? No cameras?
We're under construction.
Okay.
We just got this whole building a month ago, so there's still the whole process of.
Yeah.
I also got the opportunity to interview Shane's lawyer, Ignacio Alvarez, about what happened, and he explained that there were several things that this Doral Volkswagen manager missed that should have alerted him to the fact that they made a mistake. The tracker is called a LoJack, is that correct?
Correct.
Now, is that normal? Do you know, do generally car dealerships do this? And if so, do they not take this off before they give the car to the customer?
Florida statute requires for the new owner to be notified. They have to be told, we put a LoJack on it. Do you want to keep it? Or do you want us to take it off? They did not do that.
Well, actually, it looks like they moved it. They just moved it to set it up, I think. Because the record was moved to get set up right here, like the same premises, and then at 1:30 they came and they
took it to Pines.
So yeah, 1:30 more or less.
Okay, 1:30.
What are you guys do in this case? You go to the airport, just try to scout it out.
Well, once it's up on my end, I'll be able to track it, and then we're gonna send some detectives over there, and I'll advise them where the car's at, and they'll pick it up.
So my client has a very high security clearance. He cannot have anything on him that will track his whereabouts. If he knew that this car was being tracked or had a LoJack, he would have immediately removed it. He had no knowledge.
Any last question I have for you? When police department assisted you for
I'm actually with them right now. They're on police.
Alright, so here's what's going to happen, Daniel. I have a case created here. What we need to do first is to confirm with their dispatch sensor that the vehicle is stolen. Once that's done, we can start sharing location with dispatch so that they can recover the vehicle as quickly as possible. As soon as we have any news, I will call you back to let you know what's the status of your case. But for now, that'll be it. I can give you a case number for now.
Thank you for calling the City of Doral Police Department.
What's their case?
What's the case number?
At one point during the conversation between the Doral officers and the manager of the dealership, the Doral officer mutes the audio of his body cam. Now, if you watched the last 5 videos I did about the whole Lego situation, you know that sometimes officers do this for improper reasons. And not surprisingly, that seems to be the case here as well. How do we know? Well, the other officer who was standing there, after dancing around the dealership and fist bumping everyone around, he left his body cam unmuted. So we know what was said. Were they discussing sensitive personal information that shouldn't be recorded? No. Were they having legal discussions with their lawyers? No. Were they talking to a rape victim? No. Not at all. We can hear the Doral officer talking on the phone to the LoJack person. This is important evidence that was almost destroyed forever. The officer also attempted to destroy this audio of the conversation with the dealership manager. And this guy is a material witness. That is a conversation that should have been recorded in its entirety as evidence. But again, this is not surprising if you regularly watch my videos. The most egregious thing here is that you can actually see the guy who actually sold the GMC truck to Shane in these body cam videos. He's right there. The cop walked right by him on his way in. He was there the entire time. He's a car salesman, and clearly nobody ever talked to him about whether the GMC was sold. The manager just called the cops and put them on Shane without ever even talking to his own sales guys to see if they knew what happened to the truck.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. I'll work with them, and we'll work with them as quickly as possible so we can get speed.
All right. Thank you so much.
No problem. Thank you. Have a good day. Bye.
Means to speak to dispatch.
Activate tracking so we can track it on our end.
Truck. I had that truck.
ETA 4 though, nice.
I had the older one. I had a 2008.
I told this is a 20.
I have this one.
Do you have an updated ping on the car?
Yeah,
May. So it's probably, when you catch it, it's probably
That was like the one stopped at the same spot. But that it's always there. If you go back,
It's always at the same spot.
always the same spot. It starts somewhere and then it ends up there again. Opalaka Airport. Opalaka
Yeah,
Airport.
I'm trying to get it on
LoJack, right?
my computer.
You have the signal on the 27 with the recorder or
It's great. No, it's great, right?
It's always in that same little spot.
Yeah,
Yeah, we-
that was.
We're trying to get that guy, man.
The thing is, we've
Yeah.
had a few cars stolen, but
Once I get the tracking,
they take off the LoJack.
So this time they don't take it.
They probably took off the OnStar, like you were saying.
Yeah, this guy, he's the guy for the stolen vehicles. I thought it was here.
you got the car was here?
I had the opposite. I thought it was here. That's why I came. So, but to know, but what we know is that LoJack.
Yeah. I got the LoJack on my computer, but it's not short. Just got it back.
341. 95th Street, Northwest 77, not in the Walmart parking lot.
Yeah, this one should be because he goes to the same
Something
spot.
parked close to the front area of the
Probably
store.
revenge.
The manager was explaining that they put trackers on every single car. Shane had no idea that his car had a tracker. So he's telling the officer on the scene, look, you have the car going from location A to location B, location A to location B. They knew location B was a Coast Guard because the dealership sent an investigator to the Coast Guard base. They didn't tell that to the cops. So the cop is asking multiple times, are you sure that this car is stolen? And they were yes. And they went ahead and pushed for the report for the car to be stolen. But they never did basic things. Why not just go to the key log and find out who's the last person who signed out the key log to this car? He would have seen, oh, it's a guy standing next to me. Let me ask him. Okay, you have an extra car on the lot. That car was sold 2 weeks ago to my client because the wrong VIN vehicle was on the lot. Why not try to trace it through if you're missing a car but have an extra car, then you think something's going on wrong here? Why not try to connect the dots? They did none of that. They just reported the car stolen, and my client gets taken to jail for it.
So you usually take the LoJack off right here in the front.
Yeah.
So you look at it, the track here.
Yeah.
So they do it at midnight, and then when they open, how does that? How do they take the car?
How I've been taking a look at it, yeah, they come in the morning, like 7. Obviously, there's no sales here, it's only service. So I don't know if they wait for service. Service opens the gate. When service opens the gate, 7:30, that's where they right now. But nobody's here, only service.
7 in the morning.
7:30, 7:45. That was like the first two.
Yeah.
This one, they came in the same thing, 7:30, then they moved it somewhere, then probably just set it up, and then they came at 1:30, they took it at 1:30.
That's how they get cameras here.
It's that we're this is all under construction. We've only been here for like 2-3 weeks. Yeah. So then the whole process putting the cameras back up, they had to knock them down.
When did they take it?
21st.
Oh, it's been a while. But like you said, probably move in, and they're probably like, oh, we're good, we're good. They don't even know they're getting tracked.
No.
Fucking
They
idiots.
took off the OnStar.
Kind of cool.
As I explained in the first video I did on this from back in September of last year, Shane filed a lawsuit against Doral Volkswagen. Mr. Alvarez is his lawyer in that case, and he gave me an update on the current status of that lawsuit. So obviously a mistake was made somewhere. Who made the mistake?
The dealership. The dealership entered the wrong VIN into the system. They've had a series of stolen cars at the dealership. The cop asked them 4 times, are you sure this car is stolen?
And the car wasn't sold or anything like that, right?
We checked everywhere. We checked when it was last titled. Last time it was titled was 2024.
Mm-hmm. That's the car that was in your inventory?
We did a little bit more research to see maybe if it was sold or something, but
And it wasn't.
we checked all our sister stores just to make sure you guys don't pull up on someone and it's wrong delivery or something. But,
So for sure you guys didn't sell it.
and it's been here 43 days.
Okay.
Somebody at the dealership during the process where Shane is purchasing his truck, somebody inserts the wrong truck's VIN number into the paperwork.
The financial person, the person that did the financing.
All he does is use the wrong VIN number at some point in the paperwork.
He did everything else correct. The price was correct. The payoff was correct. Everything was correct. He just entered a VIN for a Silverado, not for the GMC.
And the paperwork didn't say it was a Silverado. It said the GMC.
My client never saw the paperwork. My client signed an iPad and was told we will transfer the signature to the paperwork. He was given a flash drive and said, Have a go on in your merry way. Goodbye. So he never reviewed the paperwork. He never signed off for the paperwork. He had no idea. He got congratulated by the salesperson when they sent him a picture, and he drove off.
I mean, there really can't be any dispute that your client wouldn't have had the VIN number to this other Silverado on their lot to insert into his own paperwork.
Correct. It was all done by the financial person.
All right, so Shane takes the vehicle home. He has no idea anything's wrong. At the end of the month, the dealership is doing whatever they're doing at the end of the month.
Their
and
audit, their monthly audit.
They realize that there's a problem.
Correct.
They're tracking the truck just via the LoJack, and they track it to this parking lot in Broward County.
Not Doral. What happens is they notify LoJack that the car is stolen, and LoJack sends out a message. The closest unit, in this case it was Broward Sheriff's Office, tracks the car to that location.
Okay, so this wasn't a situation where there was any sort of arrest warrant issued or anything like that, or no court order at all. It was just LoJack sending out some sort of APB to local law enforcement.
Correct. The local law enforcement will have a LoJack system in their car, and then they get an alert when they're near something that's a hit, and that's how they follow the car.
So at that point, when they arrive at the parking lot, they don't even know who the suspect is who's driving the vehicle. Is that right?
They have no idea. All they know is that car is stolen, or it's reported stolen.
At this point, when the arrest occurred, that was Broward County Sheriff's Office.
Yes, sir.
So as far as you know, was there any communication between Doral and Broward Sheriff's deputies prior to the arrest taking place?
I have no idea. I have no idea. The information I got is just LoJack.
What did they do with Shane after they arrested him?
They took him to the station and put him in a cell.
Did they take him to Doral or did they take him to Broward's office?
The Broward local station.
Okay, and then presumably they then contacted the Doral detectives and waited for them to arrive?
Correct.
So what was it that Shane told them or that they realized during the interrogation that caused them to realize that there was a mistake here?
Shane provided pictures of him driving off in the car from the dealership and was able to show them the paperwork of the purchase. And then it is my understanding that Doral contacted the dealership to verify everything, and that's when they realized there was a mistake.
And so at that point, they let him go?
Yes, sir. After that, Shane contacts me. I tell him that go get the car at the toll agency. On the very minimum, they stop accruing the fees because it was over July 4th weekend. And when he got there is when he realized his paperwork didn't match the vehicle they had there. He then contacts Volkswagen, the dealership. They send that same investigator out that went to the base. And the investigator basically tells him, if you want the correct registration to get your car, sign this release. And Shane did not sign the release. He never got the paperwork. He left, and the dealership ended up getting the car themselves.
What happened to all of Shane's stuff that was in his truck?
He was given the opportunity to get everything out.
Did he ever end up getting the truck at all?
No, the car was returned to the dealership. The dealership canceled the contract and returned the funds that he had put down as a deposit back to him.
Why is that? I mean, if this was his dream truck, why not still conclude the deal?
The car was crashed. The Broward Sheriff's Office crashed into the car to pin the vehicle from preventing it to escape. So the car had damage.
Do you think that was appropriate?
I was a cop for 25 years. When all you know is that there's a stolen vehicle, you know that 9 times out of 10, that vehicle is going to try to flee if it's stolen. So what they did was pin the vehicle so the vehicle cannot go anywhere when they came out to take him into custody. So is it appropriate based on the facts of the circumstances what Broward Sheriff's Office did? I believe so.
Other than the belief that the vehicle was stolen, they had no other information indicating that anybody was armed or dangerous inside the vehicle, right?
Listen, and I'm speaking as me as a cop. I'm going home tonight, and I'm going to do everything possible to make sure I stay safe. If I can avoid getting into a vehicle chase with a car And a lot of times these stolen cars travel very recklessly and innocent people die. If I can limit that opportunity, I'm going to take that opportunity. So I get what Broward Sheriff's Office did.
I've covered lots of, so-called felony stops, many of which were mistaken ID cases. I don't know if I've ever seen one where they rammed the vehicle as a part of, their routine felony stop procedures. Do you know whether Broward Sheriff's Office, whether that's within their policy to ram a vehicle that they believe is stolen?
I do not have the answer to that question.
Let me ask you about Doral. I mean, do you think that they dropped the ball in their investigation, the Doral Police Department?
I think that the dealership did not give Doral all their information. Doral, the cop, was asked 4 different times, "Are you sure this car is stolen?" Hindsight being hindsight, could they have done a better job? I.e., okay, the car is going from location A to location B every single day. Maybe try to make contact. I don't know, but based on that information that they got that's going from location A to location B, the cop kept on telling the manager, "Are you sure? Did you check? Are you sure you did not sell this car?" And the manager kept on saying, "Yes, I'm 100% positive."
Who made the decision to hold Shane?
That was Broward Sheriff's Office. They detained a person who was driving a stolen vehicle. In their eyes, they were dealing with a stolen vehicle.
Did they ever make any effort at investigating whether or not Shane had stolen the vehicle? Did they question him at all?
They did not, based on the videos that we saw on the scene, they did not ask him any questions. All they did was detain him until Doral got there or got to the station.
At any point was Shane Sprague charged with any sort of a crime?
No, he was not. He was never booked into the Broward County Jail.
It's undisputed that this was not Shane's fault at all. Did anyone from any of these agencies or businesses ever apologize to Shane?
I'm not aware of any of the police departments apologizing to Shane. I know that Broward Sheriff's Office and the Coast Guard had conversations because his bosses at the Coast Guard were upset. I don't know where those conversations went, but the dealership right now, we are in litigation with the dealership. As to any apologies, right now we're in litigation with the dealership.
Has the dealership taken any responsibility at all?
We are doing mediation in the next month, which is court ordered. So at this time, I cannot discuss anything dealing with any negotiations or conversations going back and forth.
If you don't settle at mediation, what happens next? Is there a trial date?
Not yet. We're in the very beginning stages of an arbitration. And depending on how that goes, I suspect there'll be some type of trial in 2027.
Why arbitration?
Because the contract requires that he sign to purchase a car an arbitration clause. So the way that the statute reads, which is what the state court ruled, is that it is up to the arbitrator to determine if the arbitration clause is valid or not. So we have to go to the arbitrator and make that argument. And if they determine there is a valid arbitration, we stay there. If not, we go back to state court.
Unfortunately, it sounds like Doral Volkswagen is giving them the runaround, claiming that an arbitration clause in the paperwork from their transaction, which, mind you, was for the literal wrong truck and for a title that they apparently did not even own, barred the lawsuit from going to a jury trial. Instead, Shane gets to be drugged through an arbitration process which favors the dealership. And that tactic is apparently working so far because even since my first video from back in September, almost a year ago, basically nothing has happened. It sounds like there's a mediation scheduled for next month, and then if it doesn't settle, who knows? We'll have to wait and see. This is just crazy because there's no dispute that this was their screw up and that Shane did nothing wrong. They should have been tripping over themselves the very first moment to make things right with Shane, their innocent customer. Instead, they are continuing a year later almost to screw him over. Unbelievable. That's pretty wild that they're enforcing an arbitration clause for this situation. It's not like you're suing under contract law, right? I mean, they falsely reported to the police that the vehicle was stolen and got him falsely arrested at gunpoint and held in handcuffs. And it really has nothing to do. It's not supposed to have anything to do with a contract to buy a vehicle.
I am not disagreeing with you, but since there is a contract, federal law states that it's up to the arbitrator to determine if that contract is valid. So the dealership is trying to go under the contract, and we're arguing exactly what you're arguing. But the state judge stated it's up to the arbitrator to make that decision. The arbitrator says no, they come back to me.
It's crazy to me that they didn't just completely make this right immediately with your client as opposed to litigating it like they are.
I can't speak for them. All I can tell you is that I am in communication with our counsel, and we are moving forward with a proposed mediation to see if we can reach a resolution.
Do you have any idea what their, other than technical, defenses or to drag you guys through the arbitration process? Do you have any idea or sense of what their defenses are? I mean, it was undisputedly their mistake.
As of right now, no, we don't, because they have not answered the complaint. So we do not know what affirmative defenses they are going to bring forward.
Can you speak at all as to how this experience has affected your client?
He is very emotionally affected by this. He'll get phone calls from people that he's worked with or people that he knows saying, hey, did you get arrested for driving a stolen car? Now he has that cloud over him that he stole a car, when in reality he was trying to buy his dream car. So he's had problems at work. He's had problems with his colleagues. He's had, call it PTSD, where now he's worried that a cop is going to pull him over and arrest him again. So this has really affected him emotionally.
But what about the cops? What about the Doral officers who should have performed a better investigation and discovered the mistake, despite what the dealership told them? And what about the Broward Sheriff's Office, who rammed Shane's new truck and took him into custody at gunpoint, holding him for over an hour in handcuffs before Doral detectives even arrived to question him? They could have discovered the mistake from the very beginning, but instead they chose to get all dressed up and play SWAT team and ram vehicles and point guns, all the while failing to actually conduct any investigation, to ask any questions at all that would have cleared up this very obvious misunderstanding. Instead, they held him in handcuffs for over an hour and then subjected him to an interrogation while shackling his leg to the table. Do you know whether or not any complaints or lawsuits have been filed against any of the law enforcement agencies involved here?
We have not filed anything against any law enforcement agencies. We feel that the events were started by the dealership and the results of their negligence, and I will say gross negligence, led to Shane's arrest.
As of right now, Shane's lawyer is only suing the Doral Volkswagen dealership. Being that he's a former law enforcement officer in the area, we see things a little bit differently about whether the cops share in the liability here. Here's the way I see it. Although the Doral Volkswagen employees did have tight shirts and pants on that day, they did not have badges and guns that were used to take Shane's freedom for several hours that day. The Doral Police Department conducted a sloppy and incomplete investigation, and the Broward Sheriff's Office acted in a way that would have made Tackleberry proud.
Can you identify your quarter, ma'am?
Ramming Shane's truck and holding him at gunpoint despite having zero information about who he even was, including any allegation that he was armed or dangerous. They literally could have just had a conversation with the guy in the parking lot, but they wanted to act excessively. And I believe that the manner in which they treated him that day was unconstitutional in a number of ways under the circumstances, as I explained in the prior video. Frankly, we all know that they acted inappropriately. I know it, you know it, and they know it. All that remains to be seen is whether there's a lawyer out there who will take on the case and prove that in court. I think it can be done, and I have a few people in mind for that job. So hopefully there will be an update video to this update video, and you can follow along by subscribing both here and at the blog at thecivilrightslawyer.com. You can follow me on X and the other socials at John Bryan ESQ. Remember, our rights don't end where your fear begins. Freedom is scary. Deal with it.